Khamzat Chimaev shouldn't be ranked in the middleweight division. He's basically overrated, is what Brendan Allen's saying. Khamzat Chimaev is one of the best middleweights we've seen in a while. That's what Paul Craig is saying. Both these guys fighting in the main event this week. It's a middleweight main event. So Khamzat is back in the news. We're going to get into it right after this.
You're watching the Community MMA.
What up, what up? It's your boy Chris Cross checking in. This is the Community MMA, aka the TCMMA podcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You know we're talking UFC. We're getting into the news. We got the big three predictions for this Saturday night. Then there's a week off next week, so we got to enjoy this Saturday night. It's a middleweight showdown. Brendan Allen, Paul Craig, and I can't wait. I can't wait for this fight. I like Paul Craig, but will I pick who I like to win the fight? Not necessarily. You have to stay tuned for that first prediction in a few moments. But first, let's get into it because, you know, it's a middleweight division fight. So Khamzat Chimaev is back in the news and, you know, he's like the punching bag. And isn't everything I'm going to get into tonight is exactly what I told you would happen prior to the Usman fight. In fact, I told you this as soon as Costa pulled out and Usman was put in. I was kind of upset with it because it's a no-win situation for Khamzat. Yeah, he gets ranked number 9 in the middleweight division. Some people aren't happy about it, but it also takes away his ability to be ranked 3rd or 4th in the middleweight division because Costa pulled out. And now it's making it harder for him to get a title fight. In fact, you have fighters coming out saying he shouldn't be ranked at all. That's kind of what Brendan Allen's saying. Paul Craig saying he's one of the best middleweights we've seen. And if you watch our shorts on YouTube, you know it because I put those comments both out earlier this morning and last night. So check those out. But, you know, we got to get into it. I mean, this is what Brendan Allen is saying. It wasn't a middleweight fight at Wednesday's media day, he said, to MMA Junkie. They weighed in at 85, but they're both 170s. I don't know how you rank. I don't know if anyone here is on the panel, but if you do, I don't like you. I'm just going to be honest. You know, so that's kind of what Brendan Allen's saying. He's taking shots at Khamzat. And really, he's taking more shots at the media, right? Saying, you know, how do you rank this guy at 185 when neither fighter is 185 pounds? And to a certain extent, let's be real, he has a point. And that's what I was worried about prior to this fight. And in order to sell the fight, it's like, hey, whoever wins, Dana White. And this is, I didn't ever see Dana White say this. And I'm sure he did because so many people were saying it. But anyhow, the winner of the fight gets a title shot. How? They're not ranked at 185. That was my first question. I don't believe it. I think it was to sell the fight. But, you know, that remains to be seen. The UFC as an organization has made guarantees before. They haven't come through. They just haven't. You got to book the fight, right? And then whatever happens after that happens. And 6 months, a year from now, everyone forgets the past. And we move forward. So I don't think Khamzat's going to fight for the title next now. I thought he did, but he's going to get banged up by everybody. Now, before Khamzat had an opponent, nobody wanted to fight this guy. I mean, nobody. And now because he's ranked, you're going to get shots in the back. You're going to get punches in the back. And when I say in the back, I'm talking about contenders that are behind you. If you're ranked 9th, you're going to start hearing noise from 10 through 15, unranked guys, everybody, because now there's nothing to lose. See, before, fighters had everything to lose, nothing to gain. But now it's the opposite. So Khamzat's going to have a hard time finding a fight, you know, when he wasn't ranked. Now everybody wants to fight him. But Khamzat's only going to fight up. He's not fighting down. So you got guys like Brendan Allen continuing to say it's BS. This guy hasn't beat an 85er. He hasn't even beat an 85er, especially a ranked 85er. He beat the number 1 170 guy. Cool, congratulations. I think everyone can agree a 5-round fight, Kamaru wins. Well, I don't agree. And that was off the couch. Keep him at 70 and rank him number 1. Okay, do that. This is a different thing. And how can you say that if it's a 5-rounder, Usman wins? Who the heck knows who wins that fight? Who knows? Khamzat was still up. Obviously won the fight after 3 rounds. That means Usman must win the next 2 rounds. Khamzat just has to win 1. And I'm here to tell you, Khamzat's winning one of those rounds. Even with an injured hand, he is winning one of those rounds. So I can't believe anybody would say Khamzat's losing both of those rounds. And I know some of you feel that way, but that, to me, that's ridiculous. Not going to happen. But I like it. I like all this going on for Khamzat. I like that his name's back in the news. I like that people are calling him out, because at the end of the day, it keeps his name in circulation. He's chilling, relaxing on the hand, getting better, right? Word is he's getting nose surgery. I don't know if that's true or not, but either way, he's sitting back chilling and his name is circulating. And that's a good thing if you're Khamzat. Keep bringing my name up, ride on my train. And even if I got to fight another ranked guy, so be it. I'll keep beating him. And then I'll fight for the title. But when you look at what Alex Pereira did this past weekend, I mean, just 7 fights, he's a 2-belt champ. I mean, it's crazy. And then you flip that to Khamzat and you're like, this guy can't get a fight. You know, the UFC made Adesanya fight him when he was like number 6. So the UFC can do whatever they want. It's what they think is in the best interest of the UFC. And it just all depends on how these fights shake out. Like, if Duplessis beats Strickland, is it going to be longer for Khamzat? Is it better if Strickland wins? You know, you have all these debates going on. Does it matter? What's Israel Adesanya going to do? Is Pereira fighting Jamal Hill next, or is he fighting Adesanya? Most likely, from what we're hearing, Jamal Hill. So, you know, then where does that leave Adesanya? There's a lot of things at play. And now you got Leon Edwards barking from the rooftop that he wants a middleweight fight after he beats Covington. And we don't know if that's going to happen. I'm predicting that Covington wins the fight. So, you know, you're going to have all this circulating. And unfortunately for Khamzat, every time he's in prime position to make some noise, you know, he's on the shelf. And when you're on the shelf, everything moves on. And that's why you're getting Duplessis versus Strickland. And Strickland, I think, came out today and said there wasn't even anything mentioned of Khamzat. Well, that's because he's injured, dude. If he wasn't injured, you'd be hearing a lot more. That's the bottom line. But, you know, we got to keep it moving because we're here really for the big 3. And we wanted to cover some UFC news. But when Khamzat's in the news, everything else stops. You know, yeah, Trump was at UFC 295. You know, we covered that. The senator got in an argument and nearly a fight with the Teamster president. We put a short on YouTube on that. That went crazy. People went crazy on the comments on that. I mean, politics is crazy. But, you know, I don't dive into it too much unless it affects the UFC. But that was good enough to have to post. It was quite funny. You know, but we got into all that. But now we got to dive into the top 3 this week, because that's really what it comes down to. The top 3 fights this week. And thinking a lot of this, so we start with the best fight and go down to the 3rd fight. Do we start with the 3rd and work our way up to the best? So let's flip it this week, man. Let's get into fight 3, because I really like this one. You know, we're going to be back with Allen versus Craig here in a moment. But let's get into Chase Hooper, Jordan Leavitt. This is an interesting fight because Patty beat Jordan Leavitt, but it was, maybe I'm confusing because there was 2 fights that were similar, but it was a tough fight. Took Patty a minute. But can Chase Hooper come in and get the job done? Chase Hooper's not as good as Patty. But that doesn't mean he can't beat Jordan Leavitt, or does it? That's why we do the predictions. So let's get into this fight right now. In the lightweight division at UFC Vegas 82, you got Chase Hooper coming in at 12-3, taking on Jordan Leavitt, who comes in at 11-2. 2 high-profile guys in one of the toughest divisions to predict. Now, Chase Hooper, 4 inches taller at 6'1". Leavitt is 5'9". Leavitt's 28. Hooper's 24, but he's starting to gain the strength, right? Chase Hooper had some losses. We'll get into that in a moment, but he's starting to get stronger over time. Every time you see this guy, as I said years ago, he's going to get better and better. He's got a 3-inch reach advantage over Leavitt. Both guys stand southpaw or left-handed. Chase Hooper doubles up Leavitt on significant strikes, 5 or 6, 2.6 per minute. But Leavitt, strong ground game, nearly 1 takedown per round. Hooper, 1 takedown every other round. Hooper, though, 50% takedown defense. Don't like that. Jordan Leavitt, even worse, at 30%. So Neither guy's going to defend takedowns. So this fight might very well go to the ground. Even though Chase Hooper wants to keep the fight standing, Jordan Levitt will be best served shooting for takedowns early and often. Now, Hooper coming off the win over Nick Fiore by decision. He outstruck him 149-51. He did give up 4 takedowns, but still dominated. Lost to Steve Garcia by KO before that, and beat Felipe Colares by KO 3 fights ago. So he's 2-1 in the last 3. Now Levitt, aka the Monkey King, same situation. Beat Victor Martinez last time out by KO. Lost to Paddy Pimblett, and that's not a a small loss. That's a tough loss because Paddy Pimblett is for real. Paddy Pimblett submitted him in the second round. Before that he beat Trey Ogden. So both guys 2-1 in the last 3. Just comes down to what you think here. I don't like Chase Hooper's takedown defense, but I also know and believe that he's getting better and better every time out. He's going to get stronger and stronger. And 150 significant strikes in the last fight, that's incredible. He's going to carry that over into this fight, use his length and reach advantage over Levitt. He's going to defend the takedowns better. He's got to be working on that, you would think. But in my opinion, he's going to win likely by KO to move to 13-3, in my opinion. Lightweight division, UFC Vegas 82. Yeah, so Chase Hooper, we like him. And, this is a fight you're getting ready to see that you would think you would see a better Chase Hooper. I mean, that's what I'm expecting every time. He's going to have a setback here, a setback there. Hopefully it's not in this fight. Maybe it's in a tougher fight coming up. He's young. He's getting older. He's not in his prime form yet. He's not quite as strong as he's going to be. His punches aren't as hard as they are going to be, but they're stronger now than they were 2 years ago. Don't get it twisted. And Chase Hooper has the ability to go in there and put on a show. Please believe it. Please believe it. And we're putting our prediction on the shelf and hoping that he gets to win and we get to win with this prediction. But Jordan Levitt's good, man. He's capable of winning too. So you never know. But I just think Chase Hooper is going to be much stronger here if it goes to the ground. We'll see how he does there. That's where Jordan Levitt's game could take over. If he's smart, he goes for takedowns early and often and tries to control the ground. That's what you do against a fighter that's on the rise but isn't quite there yet. That's what you do. And we'll see if Jordan Levitt can accomplish that. Now in the co-main, you got Michael Morales versus Jake Matthews. Not crazy excited about this fight, but definitely intriguing. Definitely a tough prediction. Definitely a tough prediction. Both of these guys, and a lot of these main card fights are 6 this week. At UFC Vegas 82, they're all tough to predict. And by the time we get here, we'll see what the record is. We'll see what it is. Last week was 6-6-1. We got to improve this weekend, at least have a winning record and stretch out the wins a little more. But let's get into it. Michael Morales versus Jake Matthews. In the welterweight division at UFC Vegas 82, you got Michael Morales coming in perfect at 15-0, getting a nice testo against Jake Matthews, who comes in at 18-6. Morales 1 inch taller at 6 feet. He's just 24 years old. Matthews 29. So Matthews right in his prime. Morales has a 6-inch reach advantage, 79-73. That's considerable. Also, both guys stand right-handed. Morales lands 5.2 significant strikes per minute. Matthews 3.3. So advantage Morales. In terms of the takedown game, almost equal. They're both laying like a takedown every other round. So if they can get 2 in this fight, that would be big. But check this out. Michael Morales, 91% takedown defense. Jake Matthews, just 61. So considerable difference there. So things favor Morales so far. Of course, he's undefeated in the UFC. He's 15-0 overall. Beat Max Griffin by decision. Adam Fugit by KO. He also KO'd Trevin Giles and beat Veretnikov at Dana White's Contender Series back in the day. So the guy is a pure winner. Now the Celtic Kid, a.k.a. Jake Matthews, coming off the win against Darius Flowers by submission. He did lose a decision to Matthew Semmelsberger, very good fighter. Beat Andre Fialho, good fighter, by KO, and lost to Sean Brady. You know what Sean Brady's capable of. So, a lot of experience for Jake Matthews, which makes his fight really interesting when making a prediction. But listen, I'm not going against the favorite, especially when he's undefeated at 15-0. You got to believe Michael Morales is for real. He's going to find a way to win this fight. He can defend the takedowns, keep the fight standing, land more significant strikes, may get the finish, but definitely winning by decision on significant strikes. Real simple. Michael Morales Wins, in my opinion, were the 16-0 welterweight division. UFC Vegas, 82. Well, I surprised myself there because I thought I was going with Jake Matthews. But instead, it's Michael Morales. And that goes to show you, I'm just listening because Jake Matthews fought Sean Brady. He's got the experience. But Michael Morales is really good. He's not as good as Sean Brady in some of those, but he's probably on the level of Andre Fialho and the other victory that Jake Matthews has. So it's going to be interesting. Michael Morales is going to have to step it up, but no doubt, I believe he will, right? And sometimes we do these predictions well in advance, and then I kind of forget if it's not a huge fight who I took, and it's that close between these two. Forget the odds. You know, there's always odds that are out there, 2-1, 1.5-1, even. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, the odds are correct more times than incorrect. But at the same time, you know, when they lock the cage door, anything can happen. And hopefully, for our prediction's sake, Michael Morales comes through. Now, for the main event, Brendan Allen versus Paul Craig. And we talked about these two earlier in the show. You know, Brendan Allen putting Khamzat on blast. Paul Craig saying he's one of the better middleweights we've seen. You know, alluding to like in a while, one of the better middleweights we've seen in a while. So you have all that at play, but none of that matters. It's fight time. And the bottom line is we got to make a pick here. And we can't who likes Khamzat and who doesn't affect our prediction. So let's get into it. In the middleweight division at UFC Vegas 82, you got Brendan Allen taking on Paul Craig in the main event. Now, Allen 22-5, Paul Craig 17-6. Paul Craig is actually 1 inch taller at 6'3", 1 inch taller than Allen. He's 35 though, so he's kind of leaving his prime. Brendan Allen's just 27. He's like entering his prime. So interesting combination there. Paul Craig, 1 inch reach advantage. Both guys stand right-handed. In terms of activity, that goes to Brendan Allen. Nearly 4 significant strikes per minute, just 2.6 for Paul Craig. Takedown game, slightly toward Paul Craig, right? He lands nearly 2 takedowns over the course of 3 rounds. Brendan Allen gets like 1 every other round. So it's kind of close, but it favors Paul Craig in terms of the takedowns. Now, Brendan Allen, 55% takedown defense, where Paul Craig has a 42% takedown defense. And the other thing you notice here is Brendan Allen is on a nice winning streak, 5 straight fights, including his last win over Bruno Silva, who's really tough in this division. He ended up submitting him by rear in the first round. Now, Paul Craig is coming off a win against Andre Muniz. That's a big win. Second round KO. And he likely got it because he fought Johnny Walker before that. He got KO'd though. Lost to Volkan Oezdemir by decision, right? And it wasn't even close. So he gets those 2 opponents with a lot of experience. Then he comes in and beats Andre Muniz, a guy with a lot of experience. So this is going to be an interesting fight, really from the angle of Paul Craig. But in terms of making a prediction, I got to believe Brendan Allen, a.k.a. All In, is going to get the win. He's just better on the feet. He's not going to defend every takedown, but he can defend the takedowns, which would, probably be an advantage for Paul Craig if he can get it to the ground. But I think Allen will defend the takedowns well enough. He's very active as well, and he's beating good fighters like Bruno Silva. So I like Brendan Allen to get the win here by decision. Well, he might get a finish, but likely by decision because it is 5 rounds. He'll move to 23-5, middleweight division, UFC Vegas 82. Yeah, so despite the fact that he doesn't agree with Khamzat's number 9 ranking in the middleweight division, I still believe this guy is going to win. And I'm a pretty big Paul Craig fan. As far as just being a UFC and a fight fan, I like Paul Craig. And he's constantly climbing up the mountain a little bit, getting knocked down. Getting on a several fight win streak, getting knocked down. And this is a fight where he usually gets knocked down. It would be nice to see him win. But, I got to pull for Brendan Allen because that's who I said is going to win. That's what I think when I step outside the box, is that Brendan Allen's just a better fighter. But Paul Craig is very capable. Both guys kind of alluding to this fight is going to start on the feet and end on the ground. And that's probably a true statement by both fighters. That's likely to happen. I mean, it's very likely to happen that this fight goes to the ground to end it at some point. Now, let's get into the Q&A. Always fun, man. Always fun. King Tarzi says, huge fan of your channel. Also, Chimaev is my favorite fighter. Keep up the consistency. You're starting to grow more and more. Yeah, thanks to these shorts lately, man. these shorts and the remixing is really helping, getting a lot of views there. We love it. You know, but yeah, the whole goal is to continue to grow. That's the goal. We got to continue to grow the channel, right? I mean, that's why you do these things, is to continue to grow. Make no mistake about it. And let me make myself enlarge it a little bit here. I'm like all the way in the background. Yeah, but nonetheless, when you get into these Q&A, man, there's a lot of people weighing in on different topics. You got weird guy 6'9", saying Khamzat is ranked 9. I understand the UFC promised him a title shot, but it's not deserved. And you got people that really believe this stuff, that he doesn't deserve a title fight, but the UFC promised it to him. That's the thing, is the UFC promised him a title fight. Whether he deserves it or not is your opinion. We're just more concerned with the fact that they said he's getting it. And now what? Khamzat fans won't forget. But there's a lot more naysayers coming out now, right? Which is to be expected. King Tarzi is back, says Yuri Prochazka fought for a title on his 3rd fight in UFC. Pereira on his 4th. It's time to stop talking about deserved. Yes, it's about who can actually win right now. And that's a great point. I didn't realize it was Prochazka's just his 3rd fight. Interesting. Khamzat's like 7 or 8 fights in, maybe not. At King Tarzi. Weird guy responds. Right, well, Alex was ranked 4 and Yuri was ranked 3, while your boy is ranked 9. Well, he was ranked 2nd or 3rd in the welterweight and still couldn't get a fight there. Then they wanted him to fight Nate Diaz. Then he didn't make weight there because he probably didn't care about the fight. And then he went in and fought Kevin Holland and finished him in like 2 minutes. So, you know, he's doing what he has to do. He can only fight the guys at the UFC will let him fight. That's the problem. Now, I know you heard about this, the senator challenging the Teamsters president. This was all over the internet like crazy. And Tommy James says, just a reminder, everyone, the senator is 5-0 as a professional UFC fighter. Don't believe me? Look it up. I didn't get a chance to look this up, but if what you're saying is true, that's crazy. So, I mean, the senator knew what he was doing. And if you didn't see this video, I'm sorry. But basically, the senator is sitting there and like, you know, in this indoor back and forth where they got, you know, people sitting up there, and then all the, you know, the committee, which is like 8 or 10 senators maybe, are sitting there asking them questions. They all get 5 minutes, and this one got heated. At Abello Pez says, kind of feel like it's a chop edit, which would be good in its own right, but also kind of believable. Yeah, I mean, what do you mean? This is definitely believable. It happened. And people, you know, there's people that are saying, oh, we need the Congress to actually get some stuff done. No, we might need a good old fashioned, you know, if you go back to the old days of America, man, these guys got after it. You had people bringing weapons and stuff into these hearings. And in one case, someone called another guy a liar, and, you know, that he wanted a duel. I mean, nowadays it's like you get a little argument, everyone freaks out. Like, you got to take this stuff and you got to put this stuff into perspective, man. At page 57, I don't like this video. Stand your butt up. You stand up. You stand your butt up. I swear, when I saw that video, I was just dying. I watched it like 25, 30 times. I'm not even lying. At John Slattery. What is this, a baseball game, guys? Let's get to work for the love of our country. See? Pretty sure there's enough fighting going on elsewhere in the world, boys. Well, I mean, yeah, but you know, it appears sometimes, yeah, they're fighting anyway. So if they're going to fight with each other, might as well, maybe if they fight with someone else, they'll all turn out be on the same team at some point. Highly unlikely, because that's not how you win elections. But maybe we'll get a Congress one time around that'll start to be on the same team. And I don't really care what the cause is. Just everybody agree on something. Like, hey, the sky is blue. Yes, 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 the sky is blue. But instead, everything is my side versus your side, your team versus my team. And it continues to be that way. At Morris, wow, toxic. Who voted for such a POS? Bernie needs a black and white referee shirt. Yeah, Bernie Sanders is in there like trying to referee this thing. You know? And if it's Herb Dean, if he's like Herb Dean, the fight's going to go on for a while as it did. I love it. I like Herb Dean. John K Noose, it looks like. Bunch of idiots. GOP is in total disarray. But, I want to see, like, that's how they're playing this thing, but I want to see some action. I want to see, not even a fight, I want to see these guys get animated and care about something. The Republican Party sometimes is like, it's like looked at as boring. That's why Trump is such a big name. And, like, that's not boring. Like, Trump is walking out with Kid Rock and Tucker Carlson and all these guys. That's not boring. That's like, whoa, the president's walking out with Kid Rock. And Kid Rock's probably thinking, I'm walking out with the president. Former, current, whatever. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's awesome. And to see the crowd's reaction was great. I don't care what anyone says. Yeah, you might have saw Trump walking out and be like, man, I can't believe Trump's there. Fine. But it's still like, dang, the president is it? Who cares which? I don't care if Obama showed up. It's like, dude, the president is at UFC. The UFC is on the map. Is on the map. And really, if you want to help the country, forget the senators and the Congress. Let Obama and Trump, which will never happen, but let Obama and Trump come to the UFC together. You want to talk about bring the country? And then people were like, oh, no, I can't believe you'd say that, Chris Cross. Yeah. Let those two walk out together and sit together and hang out. And even if they don't like each other, make it look good, talk to each other, hang out. You want to talk about that will bring the country together so quick. Yeah, there'll be some dummies that will find a way to make bad of it, but it would also bring the country together because it's like it's almost like a peace agreement that's unsigned. We're just going to hang out. We're going to watch the fights together. I'm not saying Obama would want to sit with Trump, but I don't think Obama would be against watching the fights. It's just, he's not going to get a warm welcome, but if he walks out with Trump, he would. That's how you bring the country together. Forget the senators fighting and stuff. I mean, there's 100 senators, I think. Is there 150? No, 100. And there's like nearly 500 and something House members. I mean, yeah, they're going to fight, man. You got a family of 4, you're fighting. What do you think is going to happen when you got 50, 100, 400, 500? There's going to be some fights. It should be expected. And the news is going to put on the ones that fight. So that's just how it goes. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's fun. But yeah, I'd love to see Obama. If Obama and Trump walked out, I might have to start being an Obama fan. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I lean to the right a little. I mean, I'm talking about, when I say lean, I'm like this. I'm not like over here. I'm not like over here. Right? Here's the middle. I lean to the right a little bit like this. I'm more of in the middle. I'm more independent. I could go either way. You understand? But in the current scenario, I would take Trump. Okay? But if Obama walked out with Trump, and I'm not an Obama fan by any means, I might be like, dang, Obama's cool. Okay. And he's not coming back for another term. He can't, right? But I'm just saying, that's what I'm saying. You want to bring the country together. Let those two walk out. Someone should organize this. And if you're Trump, make the call. It's not going to help you get any more votes. Obama probably says no, but like, that's what you need. That's how you bring the country together. That's an easy one. We're going to sit and watch 5 fights together and hang out. They might as well don't even show the fight. Just put the camera on Trump and Obama, and watch their reactions. That would be almost as interesting as the fights. But that's not going to happen, because that would be bringing the country together. And that's what people should be talking about. Because whether the Senate, Congress people fight or not, we're still going to be like, man, they're totally divided regardless. A fight, not going to do anything worse except highlight the issue. But it, should already be highlighted. It's quite obvious. But let Obama and Trump sit together, then see what happens. Then let's see what happens. But nonetheless, listen, 3 big fights this week. You got Brendan Allen, Michael Morales, Chase Hooper. Those are the big 3. Those are the big 3. But for now, I got to get out of here, man. It's getting cold out here. We had a good time, good show. Got President Trump in the news, Khamzat in the news. We got big fights this weekend. It can't get any better. We got senators trying to fight with union presidents. I mean, it's a wild time. It's a wild time. Just take it all in. Relax. Just relax. Take it all in and enjoy yourself. Have a good time. For now, it's your boy Chris Cross. Hope you have a great day and God bless. Peace.